Hi everyone, thank you for coming. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself as Raph did. I moved here about 4 years ago, and I have next year 4th grader, just wrapping up 3rd grade tomorrow. And I also became involved just by attending meetings and hearing what was going on. And when there was an opportunity to get involved further, I thought that sounded like a great way to get more involved in the community and understand what the future here looked like. It's been a great experience working with a lot of terrific people and learning all about the challenges and possible solutions for our district. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our progress and process to date. As you know, this challenge has been going on a long time. We have been at this. We have worked in different citizens groups. CFAC worked on the problem. We had a referendum last spring that you're probably mostly aware of. And then our group was formed after that. The first thing that we did was a survey to understand better the results from the referendum in the spring, so that you understand the way we've gone about this is as a dialogue. So at every stage, we've sought community input. We want this to be a whole community effort so that everyone is with us as we move through this. We've done a great deal of research of groups that have worked on this before. We've studied their findings, and we've done a lot of additional research. We've done tours of all of our buildings, the changes here at the high school, as well as buildings in other districts to understand how other districts have approached referendums and reconfigurations and how they have utilized both existing facilities or built new facilities. The initial options that we formed were based on the insights from the original community input survey, as well as research that we had done and studies that we had done working closely with the cabinet, the board, our administrators. And then we developed a three-pronged approach to evaluating those options to determine how we could come to the community with them. If you attended the forums back in March, or you participated in the focus groups or the surveys at that time, all of that research and feedback also played a role in the options that you'll see tonight. The three-pronged approach was looking at the educational outcomes, the financial sustainability potential, and the community feedback, as I said. And based on those things, we developed these models. And like Raph said, we're looking for your feedback on those so that we can then take 2 or 3 recommendations to the board in July. We will also be conducting focus groups in a couple weeks, so if you're interested in participating in that, please sign up for that on your exit survey. So part of the three-pronged approach is the financial picture. And while we're working with very preliminary numbers on the project cost, our team developed a financial model early on to look at possible sustainability. There are a lot of factors, and things continue to evolve and change as they weigh in on this equation. So you'll be able to talk to someone a little bit further about that at our finance station. But what you can see is that we are heading into a deficit. Where it goes up is just what is accumulated in the number of years that we've been working on the project, because there's been a reluctance to invest in a situation that wasn't a long-term solution. So as soon as we are prepared to do that, then we will be able to use that reserve. So one of the things that we've really discussed is how other districts of similar size or our neighbors run their districts more efficiently by having fewer buildings and larger number of kids within those buildings. For a variety of reasons, our population has declined over the past number of years, with a range of people having fewer kids to things that happen at the state level that are out of our control. But regardless, we've ended up with a number of our schools with extra capacity and a number of very small cohorts. So basically, the kids in our schools all need more kids, and the teachers would benefit from working in larger teams. And to that end, what we're really looking to do is balance our class sizes and balance our buildings across the district to create a more consistent student experience. And again, you can see that the class distribution or the student distribution has become uneven. We haven't changed our boundaries in 20 years, so that also plays a role. And with any configuration plan, we will have some boundary shifts. We're not talking about boundaries specifically tonight because that's much later in the process. but that will be a part of the end result. Something else that has come up is in our long-term configuration planning that we want to design a secure, accessible, updated, and flexible learning environment. We found that all of our neighboring districts offer full-day kindergarten, which is something that we don't offer here. So we would like to be on par with our neighbors and with similar districts our size and be able to offer full-day kindergarten to our early learners. Additionally, we've talked a great deal about HVAC systems. We know we have some very old buildings, and we also know that other systems need updating. Something that talked a great deal about is air conditioning. And something I want to clarify is that that is not just about comfort. Air conditioning is about security. Today, the security guidelines dictate that the doors stay closed. All the doors except one primary entrance are on lockdown all day. They cannot be propped open. You cannot get a cross breeze. It is also recommended to keep the windows closed in many areas for that same reason. This is something that we need to be aware of. It's very important that our buildings are secure, but when the doors are closed and the windows are closed, it's very, very warm in the buildings. The inside temperature is easily much higher than the outside temperature, and it's a more difficult environment for our children to learn and our teachers to work. We also want to address ADA compliance so that we can accommodate not just students with injuries and disabilities, but also teachers and parents and other visitors to the schools. And with that, I'm going to hand things over to Ronnie, and she'll talk to you about our scope of work tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi. Ooh, thanks. Ronnie Ben Yosef. I am the mother of, for one more day, 2 first graders and a second grader who have had an amazing year, which is why I became involved in this process. So many things are going right in 112, and I think we moved here in 2009, and when I realized that some things weren't as they should be, I started paying attention, and I found it felt much better to participate, and there are so many opportunities to participate and try to enact positive change. So that's why I'm here, and I'm really glad that all of you are here. Tonight, we are presenting 8 models at 3 stations. You'll see concept boards, each with a brief description, maps of buildings, and diagrams of potential feeder patterns. As Raf pointed out, they are preliminary. You will see finance boards that include preliminary not to exceed project estimates. And you will see all of the models include full day kindergarten, ADA compliance, fire sprinklers, and HVAC. You won't see boundaries tonight. And I realize it's human nature. You're going to go to these maps. You're going to look for your intersection. If you have kids in the district, you're going to want to try and figure out where your kids are going to be. If you don't have kids in the district, you're going to want to try to figure out what your property values are going to be. I get it. The reason that we've been able to work at such an aggressive clip is because we've really been very vigilant about working on a timeline that's been established in collaboration with our wonderful administration, with our architects, and with construction management. So boundaries can't happen until we really refine models. We can't refine 8 models. That's why we need to hear from all of you. You will not hear about school assignments. You will not hear about traffic patterns or transportation. You won't see anything regarding district class size guidelines because that's a board decision, not a 2.0 decision, as so many other things. You will not see us looking at dual language in more than 1 middle school at any of these boards, but again, this is preliminary. You will not see anything regarding curriculum. I should also mention you won't see the placement of our 3 self-contained special education programs, but these have all been reviewed by our administration, and we've made sure that there will be, in whatever models we pursue, that there will be wonderful, suitable spaces for those programs. But again, it's one of those things that it's a little soon for us. The first station includes models A, B, and C. It's a place where you'll see different approaches to middle school. It's also where you'll see the highest project costs due to construction and extensive renovation. Model A includes 8 buildings, 2 middle schools, including a new Northwood, and a new Southeast Elementary Middle. Model B includes 8 buildings with also 2 middle schools with a separate 5, 6, and 7, 8 at Indian Trail and Elm Place, with Edgewood being the other middle site. Model C is a 5-building plan. That's something you didn't expect, including the Early Childhood Center with elementary school, 4 K-5 elementary schools, including 1 dual language academy and 1 split-use site, and a single middle school campus. The second station is models D and E. Same bricks, same price tag, different approaches to programming. So both are 8 buildings, and you'll look at that, it looks like 9, because we're treating Northwood and Wayne Thomas in those particular models as a single site because they will be connected. In both of these, there are 8 buildings with an early childhood center sharing the same site as the middle school, separate entries, but the programming is different. One is a more traditional K-5 program at 6 sites, and the other consists of 3 regional pairs, primary, secondary at K2. The students move with their cohort to 3rd through 5th at a separate site. Third station is models F, G, and H. These constitute 3 different approaches to mitigating change. You will see that some of these retain 2-section programs, which might require more frequently redrawn boundaries. There is a 9-building plan, a 10-building plan, and an 8-building plan. There are also finance and process stations. We're going to send you on this gallery walk. You will get a handout with a brief description of the stations and a glossary. Feedback. How many Post-it notes did we get last night? 529. We know you can do better. And there will be a chance to get involved at the next round of community engagement, which will be focus groups held on June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. So if you are willing, we would be so grateful if you would sign up. And with that, I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. I also want to thank our tremendous administrators and this community. All of this will be online at 112information.org. Our minutes are also all online. Videos of all of our meetings are also available. And you can find all of the Board of Ed's meetings and our meeting schedules on nssd112.org. We are so eager to hear from you. Thanks so much for coming out tonight.